I'm Andy Pilgrim with Automobile. Welcome to another edition of Pro Racers Take. Today at the NCM Motorsports Park, we have a 2020 Mazda Miata MX-5 Club. And I'm very much looking forward to taking this one on track right now.
All right, let's take a flyer. Looking towards the 120s here for the Mazda to put it on par with some of the other lower horsepower cars we've had. Running around 100 miles an hour. Actually pulls well. It starts to slow down a little bit above 110, but getting to 110, the car pulls quite well, and then you're in fifth gear around 110 miles an hour. 122, 3, 125. Yeah, that puts it on par with other cars for sure. Let's go do the 0 to 60 and quarter mile. So you need a little bit of careful clutch control off the line with the engine, but there's quite a bit of torque in this engine for such a light car. It works well. 5.9060, that's pretty much what I expected. Let's see on the quarter here. 14.4, excellent. Yep, good numbers, good numbers. Now let's go to the hot lap. All right, looking forward to dancing with the MX-5 coming down the front straightaway. You're gonna see some pretty late braking down here for turn 1. We are going a little bit slower, lightweight car. And you're also going to hear the Bridgestone Potenza S001s complaining through these corners. It's a summer tire, they're doing their best, but they're not a super sticky tire. And they are the 205 45 by 17s with those nice BBS wheels. Looking for some serious oversteer in some of these corners. You can actually see with the sun shining in there, you can clearly see that I'm battling the oversteer sometimes. And sometimes you have to promote a little oversteer with this car on the way into the corner to keep your momentum going. But it's so much fun playing with this car around here. Just right on that edge. You can see my steering wheel working everywhere. Gearbox is fantastic. Love this gearbox. It's so precise. Turn 8, always a lot of fun through 8. Yeah, oversteer again. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And the ABS comes on here very well, but they control the chassis so well. You can still turn in nicely for turn 10. A little bit of MX-5 Cup track limits there. And the suspension is so compliant, you have absolutely no issue running across some of these curbs. They're not violent curbs at NCM, but they are definitely there. But you need a good compliant suspension for the chassis not to get upset. And in this stock car, the chassis is very compliant. Rolls around quite a bit, but still feels good. A little bit of water here upsets the rear of the car. Whoops, just a little bit. Quite a bit of rain we've been having. And again, super trail brake into here. Just hold it tight inside. Patience through here, as I always say. A little bit ragged at the top there. Again, not a super sticky tire, so 49 miles an hour there is a little bit slower than some of the other cars, but they're not sticky tires, but they are great fun, and they're an excellent street tire. Looking towards the clock, 2:32.64. That's pretty much where I thought it would be. Good time for the Mazda. Let's head back to the garage.
This is the 4th generation of the MX-5, and for me, it's the best looking one of the lot. I did like the 3rd generation, the way they kind of flared the arches in the front. You could kind of see that when you were driving the car, but this one is absolutely my favorite. I like the fact that they've put this lower lip splitter down here on the front. I like that angle, makes it look very sporty, and probably takes away a little bit of lift from the front of the car. Very much like the lights up the front with the LEDs. And also if you come down the side, again, the wheelbase, the 90-inch wheelbase is just spectacularly small and makes this car just an absolute riot to drive on the street. And if you come all the way to the back of the car, we have the spoiler lip here. Looks good with the white especially. And then at the back you also have the twin exhaust, and I think the taillights are superb looking on this car. It just all collects towards the middle, and it just looks fantastic. This car does have the BBS Brembo Recaro option. What does that mean exactly? You get heated Recaro seats, you get the 17-inch, beautiful 17-inch BBS wheels, and you get the Brembo calipers. And in addition, with this option, you get this side sill extension and the rear bumper skirt in black. I think going along with the trunk lip and also the lower front lip, it's just a very nice design piece. The MX-5 comes with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, produces 181 horsepower and 151 pounds-feet of torque. One of the things that's notable about the engine since 2019 is that you can rev this one now to 7,500, which is an increase of about 500 from the previous generation engine. One other point of note under the hood is the strut brace. Why do you care about a strut brace? Essentially, the strut brace between the two towers helps to stiffen the chassis a little bit. And what does that mean to the driver? You get more immediate response from the chassis back to the driver. Takes away the flex. Anything that takes away the flex, not a bad thing. The strut tower brace is part of the club trim. What else do you get with the club trim? You get the Bilstein shocks, you get a limited slip differential, and a slightly retuned suspension. Think springs and sway bars on that one. Happy to say the MX-5 is still super simple inside. Steering wheel, not too much stuff on it, which I love. Cruise control, bit of the infotainment system like miles per gallon. You've got the telephone stuff if you want to deal with that. But essentially a nice, fairly small steering wheel. I like it. Still have a manual handbrake, always like to see that. The Recaros, which you've already mentioned, are fantastic as far as holding you in on track and extremely comfortable on the street. The 6-speed gearbox was upgraded slightly, I believe, in 2019, but it's still sensational. Excellent gearbox, one of the best in the business. The seats are manuals, which I don't think I mentioned before, but again, I'm fine with that. I have no need to have electronic everything, because it essentially just adds weight. I do understand how people can have an MX-5 as their only vehicle. There is more practical everyday storage in here than you might imagine. This little cubby hole is actually like the glove box because there's nothing up here, and it is pretty huge. I mean, it's in the sense of much bigger than you might think, about the size of a regular good sized glove box. And then behind here, you've got a lot of room back there. It's not the trunk. Most people might think it's the trunk. It's not the trunk, but there's a lot of room there for coats and small packages can get behind there, easy enough to put back there. And then you've got the trunk itself, which is about 4.6 cubic feet. And one final little point is these cup holders. I just love these cup holders. They click in and out. You've got the one here, and then you've got also here. This one comes out. And I just think it's a great little added feature for the car. I definitely want to show the top off this car. All right, so it's fairly easy, even for somebody as useless mechanically as I am. All right, here we go. Do that, push it back, boom, clipped. How quick was that? No engine, engine, good. And if you want to put it back up, here is the thing. You grab this, there, boom, done. Unbelievable. There is not a mechanical soft top anywhere that's that quick. There you go. And I didn't have to be a contortionist to do it. Okay, let's go do some corner shots. My own experience with MX-5s or Miatas is pretty limited. I first drove one about 4 years ago. I had a lot of fun in that car. And then about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we got a global Mazda MX-5 race car here at the track to test for Pro Racers Take. Had a good time in that one. I owned a Gen 3 car for a few months before I let that one go. And then we've got this one, this new 2020 car. It is superb. If you don't need a lot of room, obviously, this is the car for you. And if you like convertibles, yes, this is also the car for you. Gearbox, brilliant. The steering is fantastic. This car will be a great dance partner on your favorite country road. All these reasons and more are why the MX-5 is still such a favorite with car enthusiasts.